Good evening. I'd like to call the North Augusta City Council study session for Monday, June the 30th, 2025 to order. It's good to see y'all. Thank you for being here, you folks. At this time, I'm going to turn over to our City Administrator, Mr. Jim Clifford.
City Council members, and also for folks viewing from home and in the audience today, we'll go through our normal course of action of doing an agenda review, having department details from each of the directors, and then we'll go into focus items, the first of which will be led by our Assistant City Administrator, J.D. McCauley, on Riverside Village parking and pedestrian safety updates, and then I'll provide an update on the utility billing software. And then after that point in time, there are 2 executive sessions that are set aside for that time. So with that, I'll go ahead and move into a pretty thin agenda review for the following week. So all these will fall under new business. There's no continuation items for consideration. So the first is under Engineering and Public Works Resolution number 2025-22, authorizing vehicular and pedestrian safety improvements in Riverside Village. I'm going to go ahead and put a hold on that discussion because that's the area of the focus item tonight. And so one of the intents of this focus item update from JD is going to be kind of seeking guidance and perspective for this resolution to make sure we can move forward on that. The second item we have under Engineering and Public Works is resolution number 2025-23, authorizing the City of North Augusta to enter into a contract with 8 Acres Recycling LLP to perform sediment removal in the Waterworks drainage basin. And so this is Tom Zeser-led project. This has to do with pulling sediment out of one of the waterways, and that's associated with the NOSC grant that we've received from the federal government to move forward on that. And so my understanding is that's fully funded from the federal government. Tom says yes. So that's not something that we have to match for that portion of the grant. So that's a good news story. And then I'll be giving updates as well on utility billing again, and then the hurricane. So really just two items under new business, and one of them has to do with the grant funding that Tom's been heading up, and that's been a good success story. So that's really all I have for the agenda before we move into department details.
Just one question. Is the sediment removal, that's going to start, that's the conversation we've been having about the apartment complex, or is this something different with that grant?
That's, I believe, different. This is the River Club. Same grant, different site.
Thank you.
Not the portion that's the Willowwick Apartments.
Okay.
Or formerly known as Willowwick Apartments.
Okay, thank you.
With that, I'll turn it over to our City Clerk, Jamie Paul, for department details.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First up is Finance. However, we'll go over that in the section 3A. And then next up is Human Resources, Human Resource Generalist Sabrina King.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. If you look at the back of your department details, you'll see our open vacancies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Engineering and Public Works Director Tom Zeser.
Good evening. We have a contract that began work this week that is work to repair various fences on some stormwater detention facilities as well as some wastewater lift stations. Again, these are fences that were damaged in the hurricane, and we expect this work to be fully reimbursed by FEMA. The sites they got started on this week are the Monticello Lift Station on Todd Avenue, the Village at Riverview, Bentley Place, Bergen Place West, and Rayborn Point. So again, this contractor is removing damaged fences and replacing with all new material.
Thank you. Next up is Planning and Development Director Tommy Paradise.
Mayor and Council, we have the BZA meeting tomorrow night, and this is the season for code enforcement, trying to get overgrown lots cleared up, and we're trying to get more vendors to bid on those lot cleanups. So one of the ways we're trying to address that is we're now advertising those lot cleanups on the city website. So you will see those advertised now. We advertise them for 7 days.
We've had a problem finding folks who want to do it.
Yes, we've really only got 2 bidders that bid regularly. And I would feel better if we had more bids.
Sure.
So that, there is that fairness aspect
Yep.
there.
Thanks,
Thank-
Tommy.
Thank you. Next up is Public Service Director James Sutton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have utility crews that are working on June Street between Park Avenue and Edgewood Avenue. They're upgrading the 1.5-inch galvanized water line that's been in service for over 50-plus years. They're going to be putting in a new 6-inch water main and replacing the service lines on June Street. We anticipate the project will be completed about mid-August. The benefits of the line and improvements will be better flow to the customers in the area, increased fire protection because of the 2 6-inch connections we make between the streets, and more reinforcement of the distribution system. Also, this week, meter technicians are going to start out another round of accuracy testing large meters located at the multifamily unit complexes, and that will go through the entire month or so until they complete the number that we have allocated for them to inspect.
That's good, James. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Public Safety Chief Johnson.
Good evening. We have our Greenway response vehicle. We've received it and we've gotten it upfitted so that it has medical equipment and it can support a backboard. That way, if somebody needs to be extracted from the Greenway, we have a way to do it now. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Next is Park and Recreation Director Rick Meyer.
And speaking of the Greenway, our Greenway team is busy installing a new water fountain on the Greenway in front of the Activity Center, long overdue. Those projects are never as easy as they look. It's not like pulling one out and putting a new one in. So it'll take them a few days, but they're at it with a tent out there to try to stay out of the heat. Our second update is the fire panel is scheduled to begin on Monday, July 7th with Johnson Controls, and hopefully that will get us to the point of the elevator inspection and hopefully an elevator working by Nike Peach Jam. And lastly, speaking of Peach Jam, we are officially in our preparation mode. We had the window washing going on today. We have goals and bleacher inspections, which we always do prior to this tournament, make sure the goals are square and that everything is in proper working order. And we also have some roof repair on the front 2 gyms. Rick, let me ask you, the water fountain are they replacing that green one that's also has a doggy water fountain? Is that the one? Or yes. Will that have a feature for a dog? Yes. Thank you. Yes, sir.
And closing us out is Tourism Manager Carl Waldhoff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a quick update. We had our first Explore North Augusta podcast released last Tuesday, had a good response. And you can expect to see future podcasts released on the last Tuesday of each month. There's a footnote. It also has a video component to it. Unlike traditional podcasts where you can go and explore North Augusta YouTube channel and check that out. Got 3 events remaining for our summer series on July 26th. Be a family movie night with Sonic 3. August 3rd, which is a Sunday, we'll have a Swinging Medallions concert after the Green Jackets game that afternoon. And another family movie night with Minecraft being showed on Saturday, August 30th.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll turn this back over to Administrator Clifford. Thank you.
Assistant City Administrator Macaulay wore his blazer tonight in honor of this august occasion of this briefing, so I will turn it over to him.
I may be overdressed for the occasion, but I think this is pretty important, so I put the blazer on. So good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the update we've all been waiting for. It's Riverside Village Parking and Pedestrian Safety Update. So what I'm going to do at the onset here is ask that if we could just kind of hold questions to the end. We had a big Q&A guidance session or slide at the end. I hope to answer all questions with this presentation, but we can go back to slides as we go through these if you have questions at the end. So with that, let's get started. Next slide, please. All right, so they say expectations are resentment under construction, so I'm going to go ahead and do my best to set expectations here. What we're going to talk about this evening is we're going to address parking and pedestrian safety concerns, as the title of the presentation would hint at, with a focus on life, health, and safety. That's our #1 priority. And to do that, we're proposing a resolution that is on the agenda for next week, Resolution 2025-22. And then we're going to talk about potential improvements that we can make. And then the big thing here is get guidance from y'all on how to move forward. Just to let you know, this is not going to be a silver bullet to solve everything, but it's a start. One kind of late-breaking thing to bring up is we met with Clemson University. The engineering department and administration went up to Clemson University. They actually won a national award for their parking. It's the only one in South Carolina that's recognized by this international organization. And while we were up there, we also talked to the city of Clemson. So we went and saw some best practices in place to kind of orient ourselves. And try to capture some of that in this presentation, but that was late-breaking. All right, so the current situation, this is a little bit like telling you water is wet if you've ever been down there. We have cars kind of parking where they'd like to go rather than where we'd like them to go. If you've ever been down there, you're going to see that we're not the gold standard, but we're going to work towards that. So next slide, and here's how we're going to try to do it. Some identified issues that I've seen. I've kind of been on the case here for, this is now going on 2 years, and in my 2 years, we've started Riverside Village. I'd call it Merchants Alliance, kind of in line with what North Augusta Ford started with the Downtown Merchants Alliance. We got Hammond's Ferry together, which I know there's some in the crowd here. I appreciate you guys coming, and hopefully they're tuning in online as well. We've got the businesses in Riverside Village to include Green Jackets, Brinkley's, Brian from Southbound, and then the hotel. All together to talk about what's going on in Riverside Village, and some of the issues related to parking are often brought up in these monthly meetings that we're holding. So some identified issues that not only that I've seen, but businesses and citizens have seen is that you got some frustration, unsafe pedestrian areas, there's some confusing signage, broken meters, unmarked spaces, underutilized decks, overutilized curb on street, and then the spillover in the Hammond's Ferry neighborhood is also a concern. And we also don't necessarily have a scalable response for what we're calling surge parking, which is where we have multiple events at one time. Next slide, please. So proposed solutions. So where do we go from here? Again, this isn't a one-time fix. It's going to be an iterative process to better position ourselves and position Riverside Village for the vehicular and pedestrian traffic that we actually are expecting and inviting. So I'm looking at a three-phase approach. If you know me, 3 is the key. First phase is going along with this resolution that's proposed. We're going to do low-cost, high-impact fixes, now relative low-cost, right? Phase 2 would be interim. It looks at vendor deployment, which would be future RFQs that we're looking to put out, policy standardization. And then phase 3, long-term, how do we set ourselves up for, again, striving towards the gold standard of parking, vehicular traffic management, pedestrian safety. Our goals here: improve safety and accessibility, optimize the parking we have, prevent that neighborhood impact, spillover, and then surge parking. Next slide. Phase 1 is pretty simple. This is what's involved in the resolution that is funded. So what we're looking at doing, I have a slide for each one of these, is installing bollards, enhancing the crosswalks we have to and from the parking structures, parking decks, and then paint curbs for existing no parking zones. So things we already have in place, we're going to just augment. Just to note, the resolution that we have before you has a maximum expenditure of $163,111.90. Now, that is funding that we have from when it's a one-time payment that when Crown Plaza was bought out from the previous owner to the new owner, it was payments that were under dispute, and it's a one-time lump sum. That's not something we're going to get every year. So now we have this ability to reinvest in the parking, and this is what we propose to do with some of that funding. Next slide, thank you. All right, safety bollards. They could be boring, but we're not going to make them boring because that's not what we do in City of North Augusta. We have proposed this to the Green Jackets and the Riverside Village Alliance folks. baseball ballers on the left and traditional ballers on the right. So the picture on the left is from Charleston. They also have them in Myrtle Beach for their minor league team. And the picture on the right, unfortunately, is from Detroit. But these are what we're trying to put in down there. So when you mix vehicular traffic and pedestrian traffic, you always have the risk of intermingling those. That just high risk environment. Now, recently, if you saw in the news, there was somebody who accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake and went into the O'Reillys. That stuff happens. We also had incidents down in the amphitheater where somebody hit the gas again and went down into the amphitheater. Thank goodness there wasn't an event going on. We went right through the railing we have because that's not crash rated. So if you go to the next slide, this is where we're looking at installing them. And we've, again, pitched this to the Riverside Village group, and everyone is on board with this. Now, this is not a drawing that our engineering department or GIS put together. This is me and essentially a crayon. There is a much better engineering, more technical map for this that has the layout of what types of ballers we're going to put and where. But basically, it's this baseball ballers spaced out. They're all crash rated. We'll have some that are removable, some that will be for special events, and some that would be for deliveries that can be removed with a specialized device, front end loader, because these are heavy. And the idea is to prevent vehicles from entering in places where we're inviting pedestrians to congregate. So it's a life, health, safety issue. Next slide, please. This, you may have already seen this. The signs are up, and there's temporary crosswalks painted, but they'll be more permanent once the construction is over. These are crosswalks between, if you orient yourself, the hotel parking deck and the Crown Plaza, Ironwood Apartments. Kind of self-explanatory if you're looking up there at the overview there. We're looking at installing a more ladder-like, visually appealing crosswalk down there, and maybe some RRFBs, because that is a main thoroughfare for pedestrians in the hotel deck. Looking to do that in maybe February 26, once all the big trucks have stopped rolling down there for the near future. Next slide. This is some improvements here right near the Municipal Center with the new Augusta Oncology and Beacons Bluff development. We noticed that there's a lot of, I'll go left to right here, there's a lot of pedestrian traffic coming from that parking deck across the street to the Municipal Center, and then also down the sidewalk, because that's where we're asking people to go. And if you've ever tried to cross the street there right now, it's a little bit of a game of Frogger as people come around that blind corner. So that's going to be helpful for pedestrian safety and also for pedestrian flow. Now in the middle there is a additional new crosswalk between Augusta Oncology and Beacons Bluff, right to the side of the alley, because we're going to be driving folks down there. If you've ever gone down there during Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee, people who park in what we're calling the Center Street deck, previously known as the Medak deck, they use this area to cross, and it's a high traffic area for any of our special events downtown, especially if we're asking them to park in the Center Street deck. And then on the right is just, we're going to touch up what we already had before, which is the crosswalk right there from the corner of Augusta Oncology to Beacons Bluff, which would then lead you to Georgia Avenue on that new and improved sidewalk. Thank you, Tom Zeeser and Roy Kibler, for that. Next slide, please. All right, then marking existing no parking zones kind of seems like a no-brainer, but everything in yellow should not have a car next to it. I venture to bet if you go down there right now, there are a few cars parked in that yellow area. So that kind of gives people, again, a signal to not park there, and also helps with folks being able to identify where they shouldn't be. And also in the future, when we get to identifying folks that will be removed, that's going to be helpful as well. Next slide, please. All right, phase one continued. So after we do those beautiful installations, kind of, again, low cost, high impact, we're looking to go out to an RFQ, which is a request for qualifications. We're looking to be closer to the gold standard than we are now. So software, hardware upgrades, on-street deck enforcement, valet services, parking deck maintenance, towing service, parking consultant is something actually I just added that because on Friday when we met with Clemson, they have a parking consultant that meets with them annually to evaluate what they're doing and give them recommendations. So that's what we would go out for a request for qualifications for. And then the next thing would be to start a limited trolley service between downtown and Riverside Village. It has dual purposes, which we'll get to. And then additional golf cart parking. This will be based on y'all's guidance of if you agree that we should put additional parking down there. And also there's some zones we can look at. And then also, this is a big one. We want to make sure we begin to look at measures to help prevent the Hammonds Ferry spillover, which is within the realm of possibility, but we want to make sure we get ahead of that. All right, next slide, please. This is the trolley route. We're going to call it the experimental trolley route because we're going to launch it for 90 days. We're going to do it soon. It's going to connect downtown Riverside Village. You're going to see the route is very familiar until you get down to Riverside Village and over to East Buena Vista site. So the red line is, you'll see the stops are what you would normally see on a third Thursday. What we're doing is adding a Center Street route down to Riverside Village, one stop that's right there by the corner of the SRP Park. And then on game day, to kind of come around the main traffic zones, you pop out to East Buena Vista, which will look to hopefully improve that lot, make that an overflow lot for game days and other events as well. Fridays and Saturdays, we're looking to do that. Again, Fridays from 4 to 10, Saturdays from 11 to 10 is what we're looking to do. Carl and his team are looking to add an app tracker to an app that they're already doing. So that's a lot of apps, but it's all in one. It's going to be a one-stop shop for citizens to see. They can track the trolley, see where it is, and we're looking for a high turn goal. And we have a brand new trolley, which everyone saw the other week. Sorry I missed that, but it's a wonderful addition to the city, and it runs very consistently and reliably, so we feel comfortable kicking this off. Next slide, please. All right, golf cart parking. This is more of a proposal than anything, but just keeping in mind that we have G1, which is a parcel that's owned by someone else that could put something there, so we can't do anything there. But then you have golf cart parking available in that kind of center section. And really what guided my thought on this is where it's already happening. And then also if we're going to do a valet, which is an all-in-one valet for the entire Riverside Village, and not just one business, it would be for everyone. The valet stand would be somewhere in that location. Because when we do valet down Riverside Village, we have a master parking agreement that governs all of this. We have to identify not only where the valet stand is, but also, hey, where do these valet cars go? Because they do not go on the street. They need to go into an identified area in the parking deck where folks can have their cars protected, and also it's a valet parking zone. Again, this is not reinventing the wheel here. This is not new. It's just we need to start doing it. Next slide, please. Phase 2, which comes a little bit later after the RFQ, we would enact it. This goes into how do we collect payments for parking? How do we enforce it? Are we doing tickets? Are we doing towing? Are we doing a little bit of both? Ordinance changes that will come along with that. Deck operations and maintenance. O&M is a big deal. In all the places that we've talked with, O&M always gets kind of put on the back burner. We want to make sure that we keep on top of that. Valet services is another one, and again, a parking consultant. That's what we do in phase 2. And part of phase 2 would be to make it very clear where we want people to go. So during the daytime, public access to the undesignated spaces, and overnight would be limited to hotel guests, residents, and authorized staff. So make that very clear. And in that next slide, we would make sure we clearly marked reserved parking for we need to tell people where they need to go. Give them the option to know where to go, because right now people don't know necessarily where they should go, how long they should be there. So there's a lot of confusion. We're going to help clear that up. Next slide, please. And part of that is with signage. So this is the potential signage options we got. One of these is on the left would be like a static sign. The second one from the left is more of a, again, if we start to go a little more in depth and a little more probably expensive, where there's sensors in the parking stalls in the deck and on the street. So when you come down a certain area, you can see what's available, like when you go to the airport or a big city like, which will be North Augusta. We're a big city now. So we'll have one of these. And then on the two on the right there is from Clemson. These are pictures from our trip. So this is just some simple marking of, hey, this is public parking. This is where you should take your car and park when you come to visit Riverside Village. So it's just simple. They're small changes, but they do have a big impact. Next slide, please. All right, long term, this kind of solidifies any of these changes that we're doing. Revise the master parking agreement. Some of y'all are new to council. We've had a couple iterations of the master parking agreement. Some items are followed, some are not. So the idea would be to make all these changes in agreement with the business owners and residents, and then solidify that into a new agreement. And then we also want to look at maybe updating city ordinances depending on where you want to go with enforcement, tickets and towing, and how we process that all needs to be updated. We got some great model ordinances from the city of Clemson and other places as well. And some things that are contingent upon funding would be that upgraded East Buena Vista lot. Improving a parking lot, if you've ever done that, is pretty expensive, but it is very helpful to do, at the very least, marking so we know how many cars we can get in there. That's for overflow. And then adjust the ingress egress of parking decks. There's an opportunity to maybe add another entrance to the hotel parking deck, just to name one option, to help get people in and out. That would coincide with what type of parking system we go with, which would be going from the arm to like a plate reader helps people get in and out of decks faster, which I know is a big item for us to address. Implement our surge parking strategy, and then something. These are more cherry on top things, but things we've got from the hotel was we need EV charging stations somewhere. There's people that are coming from out of town that need to charge their car. We don't currently have an option for them. And then consider a parking consultant to help us along, making sure we're on the right track and we're not just making things up as we go. Next slide, please. All right, summary of what's next. First step on our to-do list would be for you to consider this resolution we put before you for those first items, the bollards, the crosswalks, and the painting of curbs. Again, that would be funded from that one-time bulk payment we got from the hotel changing hands. We would then move to publish an RFQ based upon the guidance and feedback we get from council, what we include with that. And then always we want to launch a communication plan for businesses, citizens, and visitors. We do not want to have them guessing on what we're doing next. That's what this is. We're trying to roll out kind of what our intentions are so we can get feedback. And again, this is an iterative process. This is going to have a lot of, I don't want to say trial and error, but we're going to try to do our best, put our best foot forward. But hey, if we need to make changes, we are there to do that and make sure it fits our design, which we really want to make this a process that is not punitive. We're not looking to punish people. We're looking to make it very easy for somebody to come down to Riverside Village, downtown, know where to go and not think about parking when they're visiting our Riverside Village. We want them to be like, oh, I parked, I took care of it, and I'm on my way home and I'm thinking about that great steak I had at Brinkley's. Or, hey, I had a great time, at Southbound. That's what I want them thinking about. I don't want them to think about, goodness gracious, I was trying to get out of the deck for 3 hours and I couldn't make it out, and all the negative feedback we get from parking. I don't want parking to be on their mind. Future follow-up study sessions would be status updates on everything that I presented to you today. We want to keep a regular update to you, what we're doing. And also this is kind of a fun note. This will kind of drive some of our policy decisions. Is there is a pending third-party parking enforcement case in South Carolina. On the coast, they do third-party enforcement, and our Attorney General says, no, you can't do that. So that's tied up in the courts right now, and that'll kind of dictate which way we can go. We're very interested in that, but if the state of South Carolina says no, we're not going to do that. So we're watching that with a close eye on how that will direct our future decisions. All right, next slide. And this is where we get to the point where I'm here to receive. We'd like to hear any guidance you have on what I've put before you, what your priorities are, goals, scope, timeline, any of that. So I yield.
All right, why don't we do this? So we can keep this orderly. I want everybody to have an opportunity so we're not jumping around. If we look at this, why don't we start on page 7, because the first 5 pages are just outlining the game plan. So why don't we do this, and we'll start down with you, John. So let's just start with phase 1. If you have any questions, good, bad, any recommendations on the first phase, the bollards. So do you have anything you want to say about the bollards?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. Spacing on the bollards. How far apart are they?
To give you exactly would be, so you cannot fit a car or a golf cart through. So they're going to be tight, so you couldn't get a vehicle through. I don't know the exact, but again, my map is with Cran. Tom, do you have the exact footage of the different? I mean, it's a few feet. It's not, and you're not going to be able to get a car or a vehicle through there. 5 feet.
Just at first thought, I would think a golf cart is less than 5 feet. Would be my first concern.
Right. Okay.
That would be a lot of bollards. 2, since we're considering a parking consultant, would it be better to get him in on the very first phase rather than wait till the second phase? I'm sure bollards are going to take a lot of work and time to get in if they work. If they're going to stop a vehicle, they need to be in the ground, concrete, rebar.
So the parking consultant would come in more on what we're going to do with on-street parking in the decks. This is, life, health, safety. We got to do this regardless because we're having people congregate, at the ticket booth. The Green Jackets have asked us to do this previously, and we have everyone down at the amphitheater. This is just kind of one of those, no-brainers for the life, health, safety aspect of what we're doing. But the consultant would be more for how we're doing, tickets, towing, traffic flow for parking.
The bollards were not around the center parking area where we currently have tables and where the golf carts are using in that center area.
Correct. If you go to the next slide, there's a placement slide somewhere, and it shows you where, right after this one should be. So that yellow is where we're going to put them. So you've got basically coming down where, if you think about it, you've got the Green Jackets tickets, Green Jackets flow of coming in and out of the games, and then also you got our Sharon Jones Amphitheater, people congregating down there at the bottom. So basically where a majority of folks are hanging out, that is what we're trying to protect in this first phase.
Very good. That's my question.
Okay. All I wanted to say as far as on the bollards, I love the baseball idea. So I think that's cool. So as far as that piece of it, I'm good with. You got any questions about the bollard?
No, support the bollards. No further input.
David?
I've been to the stadium in Greenville. I think they have something similar. I don't know if you know about that or not.
I believe they do.
Yeah.
They may be a different color, but yeah, they're becoming more and more popular. Yes.
Dennis?
I like the bollards for safety reasons. Is there any way to make the freestanding ones look more like baseball bats?
That is a great idea. We will take that into consideration.
Yes. Actually, that's a great idea. Yeah, I like that.
And one other thing on the crosswalk, I talk to a lot of constituents that want to see us do more handicap accessible crosswalks. And one of the big things I heard was rumble stripping for the sight impaired.
Yes.
It's kind of a textured stripping so that they know they're on the right path. This being such a, we want a lot of people to come down there, so we want to make it as handicap accessible as possible. Is that something we can consider for crosswalk areas down there?
Yes, of course. And if you look at what Tom and his crew have already done, there's a great example down by the hotel deck. They did a ramp. Everything we do is handicap, but that rumble strip, I'll make sure we include that as well.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to start working back this way since you got us ahead. So down on page 9, any comments about hotel parking deck? I think that's a great idea, the crosswalks. So you have anything else on that, Dennis? All right, David, your thoughts? You got anything on that? Okay. Kevin?
Crosswalks or the hotel parking deck? Where are you skipping to?
Well, I'm calling crosswalks being hotel parking deck, Center Street parking deck.
Just for clarification, you mentioned RFB. Can you explain what that is?
RRFB, I'm gonna butcher that. It's what you see on the new crosswalk, but it's over there by we'll say Spring Grove. Is that the one off of Sheila's?
Yeah, that's the rapid.
The one's rapid reflecting. Yeah, it's basically when you push a button and it flashes when it's time to cross, and all it does is give an additional kind of visualization for that driver because it is, as you know, it's a high traffic area.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. What I thought you meant.
Yes.
Just wanted to be sure. But yeah, I mean, I would certainly want us to look, especially with that, just paint in those areas. I don't think would be sufficient. So some sort of a lighted feature and even maybe a flashing sign, say pedestrian crossing or something along those lines. But that's the only other feedback. Like the plan, like the layout, like where you have them located.
All right. So a couple things. I like the location on page 9. My question is where we also get a lot of traffic are people who are not crossing that way. They like to walk down the sidewalk to the end of where the lot is, almost right across from the end of the Crown Plaza where the median is.
Yes.
So that's, without visualizing that, does that need to be repainted? Do we need to make that? I didn't see that on here, and that's a real busy too.
We will repaint that as part of this. We just kind of were focusing on the new ones, but that one that's existing, as you mentioned, you walk down and cross right there where we have all those beautiful lights and everything in the Center Street. That will be repainted.
Okay. I like the Center Street parking net crosswalks. I've seen, just because I go through that way all the time from my office down the Municipal Center, I can't tell you the number of people who are from leaving Augusta College and they're crossing over there without a crosswalk because they don't want to go all the way up to West.
Ricky, we're on page
Crosswalk.
10, if you could go one more. Thank
Yeah,
you.
page 10, yeah. So I think that all is very, very positive. So I like that. And let's see if I'm jumping ahead of y'all on this. On page 11, I think you've answered the question. We don't want to put bollards here because, well, I'm jumping ahead. We don't want to put bollards here because you're proposing this as possibly a way, instead of having people sitting at the tables there, that now could be an avenue for us to have golf carts and cars.
Correct. It would be, not cars, golf carts only is what we're going to explore. But yeah, putting those bollards up. There are some in the crosswalk area, but we're not going to do bollards in our first phase. And if it's something we want to do in the future, we'd be open to that.
All right, no, I'm with you. I do think we need, I hadn't thought about using that space for golf carts, which is a big need. But I'll tell you what, we have a lot of people who do like sitting at those tables. So I think we've got to think through that. Do we want to totally take that out or not? So that's the only question I had about that.
We can also move the tables to another area in that Center Street. And a lot of people, we find a lot more people down there because of the mayor's lights that have shown up down there. So people are very happy about those.
Mr. Mayor, sorry to jump in, but the part of what JD's plan here, which I agree with, is that I agree with all his plan, but what you go and see today is you've got planter boxes that are there in the center median, and those are mobile. So at the end of the day, it's not the same level of protection as the bollards, but you do have a way to prevent vehicles from getting into in certain parts of that median. And so by sticking with that kind of planter box model, that allows us to experiment to be able to do either angled parking for golf carts, and if we don't like the way that looks, we can put it back out there. But once we do something with bollards are going to be expensive, and they're kind of permanent. So we want to have a little bit of flexibility to see what concept works there in the middle.
Yeah, I'm with you. That sounds good. John, any comment about parking across this?
Yeah, I believe most of the businesses, if not all of them, have tables and seating in front of their business. Crown Plaza does.
They do. Yes. Crown Plaza has a nice little igloo kind of things for the winter, that outdoor and fireplaces. And then Southbound has a little bit as well. Rio, yes, they do.
They all do. Yeah, and I do like the outside seating. I think it's very inviting for everybody, but also having, and I've had people ask me about the golf carts and their access down there. So seeing additional parking for the golf carts, to me, I really like. What about a motorcycle?
That is a great question. When we were up at Clemson talking to them about parking, the reason why you want to have identified golf cart parking and then also looking at additional motorcycle parking is because, as you know, one golf cart taking up one car space, you could fit 3 golf carts at least in one vehicle space. So it helps with getting more density and better utilization of your spaces. So yes, looking at motorcycle parking is also going to be part of this as well.
And are there other vehicles, if you can use that term, that maybe scooters or small engine? I see people riding around on
moped.
Used to be a toy. Oh yeah, moped.
Street legal would be okay. I mean, if they're street legal, we'll let them park. I'm looking over at Chief. If they're street legal, then I think we're good. If they're not, then we wouldn't welcome them.
Yeah, that would be my other concern with the golf cart parking is that they are street legal, and identifying exactly what street legal means with lights and seat belts and turn signals
and we put a
licensed drivers.
We put a post out on our departmental Facebook page either last week or the week before about the new law in South Carolina, so they can refer to that if anybody has questions on it.
And does that require someone to have a vehicle driver's license to drive that on those roads?
Yes, sir. In order to drive a golf cart on the road, you had to have a driver's license.
And does the vehicle have to be insured?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Very good.
I'd just like the record to note that Jim Clifford agrees with me.
All right, so I think as far as all the way through page 11, we've had all the questions asked at this point. So phase 1 continued. So anything, John, I'll start with you. We're just going back and forth as far as anything concerning page 12, the
13.
basically the trolley route, and let's start with the trolley route.
Yeah, question on the trolley route. So are those the round, and I don't have my glasses.
Be page
So-
13.
Page 13. So is that a little trolley icon that's on my map? Yes. So is the route would be clockwise?
The route is going to be clockwise, yes. It's the same route again that it takes for third Thursday, which the stops all need to be on the right. So however they're going, it would be, that's how they would go.
Very good. And then the green route, which has I believe that's the current storm damage location. Is that the overflow parking?
Yes, that would be our overflow parking site, yes, sir.
And would that be a paid lot?
For this model, we're taking input, but I don't believe at this point it is not marked as paid, but we could consider that in the future based on council guidance.
Have we gotten to the point about the parking buildings and payment?
No,
can I make a comment? Is that next?
No, say that. No, that's not now. That's not for this.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
So I would just also to highlight here with Mr. Felike, Councilman Felike, is that we don't intend to have that as a paid site because we're trying to, this is strictly for, when we look at the green route, we look at that as for overflow for surge events. So nighttime ball games, the SRP stadium hosts an event, something along those lines. We want to be able to incentivize people to take the trolley, to take pressure off the parking inside Riverside Village. So it defeats the purpose for us to have paid parking at the offsite. And we also want to make sure we have a very short turnaround time for the trolley because people don't want to wait 25 minutes for a trolley to show up. So people will wait 6 or 7 minutes for a trolley to show up, but not 20.
There are many places people park to avoid paying the parking fee.
Correct. So we want to incentivize people to be able to park outside of the village. And so that would be, at least in our opinion, counterproductive for a paid model. Can we revisit it? We absolutely can. But for the initial foray into this, our staff perspective is that's a non-paid lot.
And that looks like the only stop on the green route.
The green route would just be in addition to, So the reason why we have those two routes is during game days, we do not want the trolley to come down Center Street and battle the golf carts and all the people. We want it to pop out, hit that overflow parking, get down to Riverside Village, and then come back. So it will also do the downtown route. So that's kind of, it's hard to capture in this map, but the red route is basically what will happen on non-game days. And then if a game day happens on any of our Fridays and Saturdays that we're running, we're going to pop out and hit that green route to avoid, to keep the turn time fast.
Game day itself could also mean big concerts.
Events.
It could mean
Yes,
events as well. And anything else that we might come up with down there that is not a game.
Correct. Yes, sir. Event.
All right. Thank you. What were the times again on the Fridays and Saturdays? You said that real fast.
It's experimental trolley route is going to be Fridays from 4 to 10 and Saturdays from 11 to 10. It's kind of small on that right side. Now, this is a map that Kevin Whaley did help.
11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes. So it's for Saturdays, it's a long stretch.
Couldn't hear that. Okay. And then the app tracker would be something that Carl's working on, and we'd be using that. People know where the trolley's located.
Yes, and good news is Clemson is using that, and we saw that in real time, and it's wonderful. If let's say you're having pizza at your pie, and you want to know when the trolley's coming to time when you go get your gelato from them, you can see when it's coming.
Okay, sounds good. Any question about the trolley route?
No questions. Love that idea.
All right, David?
Just one thing, and I think you said it, but they'll still pop downtown on Friday and Saturday nights on game days, just not Center Street.
Correct.
Down to the ballpark. But they'll still do like West Avenue and George Avenue.
Yes, sir, because the idea is to intermingle so people can get something to eat
Absolutely.
anywhere and make their way to the game and back.
That's great. Perfect. Dennis? You're good on trolley. All right, let's jump over to golf cart parking valet stand. You kind of answered. Dennis, we'll start with you. Any questions? Then we talked a little bit about that. You good on that? David, you good? Kevin, anything on the golf cart parking valet stand?
No real questions other than what I mentioned to you earlier. We just, to enhance the golf cart parking, that's an ordinance that we'll have to review.
Yes, sir.
I think thinking outside the box on that, and I wasn't thinking about that, but John, you made a good point. I do think people use those, but again, there's a lot of other places that on both sides of the parking, and the and the golf cart is a big issue. So I like the thinking, you know what I'm saying? That's good. So anything you got on that one?
Yeah, I would think it's the chairs that are moving people to sit wherever the chairs are. Yeah.
Yep.
And did you say, Mr. McCauley, that that particular piece of land is owned by someone else?
Yeah, so G1 is a parcel that's kind of a legacy parcel, and it's been thrown around to be anything from a coffee stand to lots of other things, but it's not the city's. It's owned by one of the developers. It's owned by Greenstone. Greenstone still owns that piece there.
And Greenstone would obviously be okay with us putting golf cart parking in there.
Yes, we would have to work with them on exactly where it goes. This is kind of conceptual, but there would have to be standoff between their parcel and where we put people, so people can line up for if they have a coffee stand. So this would be a conversation that we'd have with them about the particulars, the specifics.
Would it be possible for us to purchase that land?
Councilman, the Greenstone is not interested in selling that parcel.
That doesn't stop a sale. Right, Mr. Buck? All right, thank you.
All right. So let's move to page 15, phase 2, vendor deployment and policy standardization. My question there is, what's the time frame there? I didn't hear. What's our time frame on phase 2?
Phase 2 can come fairly quickly based upon the guidance we get this evening. Putting together an RFQ is pretty simple. It could be within a few months that we put something and bring it back to council for approval. It just said interim, but it's not as fast as the project that Tom already has ready to go. That one's shovel ready. This one is a little more time, so a few months out, 6 months or so.
Well, yeah, and I just know in the past, previous mayor and council, early, I think in Mayor Pettit's tenure, there was a lot of discussion about Wayfair signage. So that is definitely not something we're going to make any easy, quick decision when we talk about
Correct. Yes.
Wayfair signage.
Wayfinding is
So that's
very
going to be
important.
another whole, not fiasco, but that'll be a very in-depth discussion.
I hope a different word is used.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, any questions for him on phase 2? Dennis, you want to go?
Well, I want to go back to the very bottom of phase 1, if you don't mind.
Yep.
What are we doing to make sure we're good with people both on Hammond's Ferry and on Skyview Drive, as far as going forward, trying to get them to have the privacy they want in their neighborhoods?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
So, what measures are we exploring to make things good with the people at Hammond's Ferry and going down Skyview Drive? Make sure we don't have a lot of spillover traffic into those neighborhoods.
So that is definitely on our radar, and I believe Steve Cover is here tonight. I believe he also sits with us on our Riverside Village committee, and we are having discussions with them, and we're looking to keep that dialogue going. Like I said, it's an iterative process. What we do today is not the end-all be-all, but we are very aware that they are the next-door neighbor, and we always want to be good neighbors. And their suggestions have been very good. And how fast we can implement them and how fast we can put those into practice and what they look like, that's going to be an iterative process working with the HOA.
Are we on phase 2? You talking about, are we on phase 2 or phase 3?
Phase 1. Yeah, on phase 1, yeah.
Oh, you're back to phase 1, okay.
So only input I've got on phase 2 is I do think enforcement and parking payment are an important part of the equation. Why is that phase 2 when we have some ability to do some of that now, at least with the payment, with the machines? I know they're maybe didn't always work right. I'm not sure what the confusion was there, but why is that not something that we can at least phase in a little bit earlier?
The parking meters that we have are, believe it or not, they're towards, I don't want to say end of life, but they have issues that need to be resolved, and that's going to cost us money to do. And so before we invest more money into a system that we don't believe is ideal, we would rather use that money in investigating perhaps a new system. So one that's not working is I don't want to say it's inconsistent, but it's one that we can definitely improve upon, and it needs improvement. And so by looking at options for improving the whole system, we take our resources and our attention to what we do next, rather than trying to limp along with what we are currently trying to do, which is very unsuccessful and inconsistent.
Is it a hardware issue or a software issue?
Both. Unfortunately.
Okay.
John, you got anything? Okay. All right, so we're near the end. Any, I tell you, as far as on the phase 3 piece, I think revising the parking agreement, if that's something we have the ability to do, it sounds like now, once everything gets built out, we can do that. I think that's a good, very good idea. And yeah, the EV charging stations, we get asked that a lot about the EV charging station. I think that would be could be positive as well. So, David, you got
Something about the EV charging. Now, won't Tesla pay for some of those?
They have their system, right, where they pick, and the one that they've chose for our area is currently up at the Dunkin' Donuts. And we have explored options with both Dominion and other vendors of, hey, where can we put these that has a low kind of startup cost? And so there's a lot of other vendors that are out there, but Tesla is kind of, they do their own thing. So we'd have to go with kind of an alternate.
All right. So, summary comments. So, what your thoughts, Dennis? Like, you good with it? Okay. John?
Just like to say that the phase 1 looks great. I think getting started is a great idea. The consultant, I think, is one I'm very interested in, just to see what has worked and where.
Yes.
Glad you went to Clemson. That's a great spot to go to.
We did not mind going there.
Yes, good.
But again, there was a reason for that, because they are the leader in parking in our state.
Was that around campus or was that around town?
Both. They won the award for how they deal with on campus and the area surrounding it, which would be the city. So we met with both of them, the city of Clemson, their city administrator and their assistant, and their parking manager, as well as the person that runs the entire university parking system, and transit as well. They do all that together. So we had a great meeting with them.
All right, JD, I think the consensus as far as for us, we like the plan.
Okay.
It looks good. I would tell you, I know the resolution is just dealing with just those initial 3 items. Do you have any recommendation? I kind of want to get y'all's thoughts. I mean, I feel like we're going to be having, I mean, the way that development is happening, I mean, it's moving faster than quicker than later. So I think we need to be considering moving with RFQ to begin going through that process to figure out what we're going to need, which ties in with that. I don't think we need to be waiting a long time. So I don't know.
Yes, sir.
From administration, if y'all have thought through what that looks like or not. I mean, we don't need to do it. I know it's a different resolution, but I would say, as far as I would like to see y'all bring us something back fairly quickly.
Yes, sir.
That piece of it.
Yep. You got it.
All right. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, let's move into utility billing updates. No changes to the slide. Next slide. So what's old is new again. And so on Saturday, we had a report that citizens were having an issue with the portal, the online portal piece, and Linda and her team investigated it and has been working with GovSense. But I think the major problem right now is with Clover, which is the online portal piece. And so we have a number of people that we can verify that have made an online payment that has not shown up on their bill because it's not transiting over. So we have open tickets at both Fiserv and Clover. And so in the interim, Linda has taken the online portal offline, because what we don't want to do is have people make online payments and they get really aggravated because doesn't look like it goes to their account. And that also causes a higher workload for Linda's team to manually try to reconcile those
but we're working that with Fiserv and Clover. So the so what of that really is just to let you know as the council members and our citizens that the online payment portal is temporarily down until we know that Clover's got their act together and we can put it back up.
Since I'm no longer able to access anything on Facebook, I've been suspended for some reason. Or have we put that in our on our city site?
We have not, but we'll be doing that tomorrow, Mr. Mayor.
Perfect. Okay.
Next slide. So the big updates here were the May 10th bills were mailed out and with the due date of July 11th, and then the May 25th bills were mailed out today. We have confirmation of that, and those due dates will be July 21st, and we believe that we're going to be able to get the next set of bills out next Monday. So we're trying to achieve something like a normal glide path. So you're going to see accelerated times, and the hope is that by August that we're able to get back onto our normal billing cycle with the folks. And then Linda and I are also going to take a look at, to kind of go back onto the previous slide, some other options aside from Fiserv and Clover to see if we could do something. I guarantee that's going to cost us a charge to move to a different vendor. But I think we're at the point now it's worth taking a look at.
Yep. Yep, that was going to be my question.
So that would require a council action to approve
Get rid of them.
yeah, to do something else.
Yeah, do something else.
Next slide. And there we are on questions. Mr. Mayor, so do you have any questions from yourself or council? That's all I have from the staff perspective, and I understand that you're going to have to read the prepared script for executive session.
Yep. Okay. All right. I don't have anything under Mayor's Matters item B, so I'm going to jump right in. We have two, item 4, legal executive session, and item 5, legal. Both are section 30-4-70. The city administrator requests executive session for both of these. The first one is discussion specifically related to Riverside Village. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for item 4?
So moved.
That's Mr. Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Buck. All right, all in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. And item 5 is discussion of matters related to Riverside Village also. I do have a motion to go into follow-up subsequent executive session on item 5.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Toole.
I'll second.
Mr. Buck. Okay, all in favor? All right, it's approved. We will not be coming back, so thank you all for being here. We now, study session stands adjourned.